You've heard the theories. Some say the Book of Enoch was too dangerous, that it revealed secrets about angels, giants, and the spirit world the church wanted to hide. Others claim powerful leaders feared what it contained. So which one is true? Here's the thing. The real truth is far deeper than most YouTubers, historians, or theologians ever tell you. And there's a twist at the end of this video that changes everything, something even scholars rarely mention. Let's dive in. The Book of Enoch is fascinating. It describes fallen angels, watchers, giants, and detailed visions of the underworld, with compartments, places of waiting, and different destinies after death. But here's where it gets strange. When you compare these ideas to what ancient Israel actually believed, something feels off. In the earliest Hebrew Bible, death leads to one place, Sheol. And Sheol was not what you think. It was silent, shadowy, inactive. The dead were cut off from praise, cut off from covenant life. No reward system, no punishment system, no heaven or hell, no paradise. Sheol seemed very boring. Even more striking, none of Israel's prophets taught extensive detail about the afterlife. Not Moses, not Isaiah, not Jeremiah, not Ezekiel. They never described compartments in the underworld, never mapped the afterlife, never told stories about souls moving through spiritual zones. So when a book suddenly appears full of complex afterlife visions, angels with names and ranks, and detailed judgment scenes, an honest question emerges. Where did these ideas come from? Here's what matters. The Book of Enoch wasn't written in Enoch's time. Historical evidence shows it appeared around the 3rd century BC, centuries after Enoch lived. During the Babylonian exile and Persian rule, Israelites were exposed to Zoroastrian beliefs about cosmic battles, judgment, and spiritual realms. Later, under Greek rule, they encountered Greek mythology. And Greek mythology had very specific features: mapped afterlife geography, divided the underworld into compartments, told detailed stories about post-mortem fate. These exact elements appear in the Book of Enoch: spatial mapping, compartments, narrative storytelling about what happens after death. These weren't Hebrew ideas, they were foreign imports. There's another serious issue. The book claims to be written by Enoch, but it was written many centuries after he lived. This practice was called pseudepigraphy, writing under a famous name to give a text authority. It was common in the ancient world, but common doesn't mean trustworthy. When Judaism and early Christianity decided what counted as scripture, they followed clear principles. God's revelation is public, not secret. Authority flows through known prophets and apostles. False attribution destroys trust. And here's the pattern that matters. God confirms His truth through multiple witnesses across time. One prophet echoes another, one generation confirms the next. But the Book of Enoch's core ideas, they stand alone. No Old Testament prophet preached them, no covenant teaching supports them. Yes, Jude quoted it, but that's because he'd read it, not because God revealed those same visions to him. Even John's apocalyptic visions confirm Daniel's prophecies, not Enoch's. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you next will reframe everything. So when you combine the foreign influences, late authorship, false attribution, and lack of prophetic confirmation, it becomes difficult to call the Book of Enoch scripture. It's ancient, it's interesting, it helps us understand what some people believed in the centuries before Christ. But inspired scripture? Here's the twist you weren't expecting. The Book of Enoch was actually hugely popular in the early church. In fact, many early church fathers quoted it as authoritative, including Tertullian, Clement of Alexandria, and Irenaeus. It wasn't some fringe text. For the first few centuries, it was widely read and respected. So what changed? In the 4th century, 2 things happened. First, Jerome and Augustine began questioning its canonicity, not primarily because of its content, but because it wasn't in the Hebrew Bible their Jewish contemporaries used. Second, the original Greek and Aramaic texts began disappearing from the Mediterranean world. By the medieval period, the Book of Enoch had essentially vanished from Europe. For over 1,000 years, it existed only as references in other texts. Until 1773. That's when a Scottish explorer named James Bruce traveled to Ethiopia and found complete copies of the Book of Enoch being used as scripture by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They'd preserved it for a millennium while Europe had completely forgotten it existed. Here's the mystery. Why did the Ethiopian Church keep it when everyone else let it go? Even more, the Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in 1947, contained multiple copies of the Book of Enoch in Aramaic, proving that it was treasured by at least some Jewish communities before Christ. So we're left with a question that has no easy answer. Was the Book of Enoch rejected because it wasn't inspired, or forgotten simply because the manuscripts disappeared at a critical moment in history? And would Christianity look different today if those manuscripts had survived in Europe the way they did in Ethiopia? The answer might be more complicated than anyone wants to admit.